So this is episode 9 of Oluswole, the podcast on a budget. I'm excited to welcome our guest, who's a Canada native and sunset enthusiast. Razaan, what's good?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Chilling in Philly. The vibes.
Yeah,
Um,
looks like you're having fun.
yeah, it's been a cool semester. Pretty unique, but I'm just grateful that I've had the opportunity to be out here because, I mean, some people are stuck at home, and like I've been in that situation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Exhibit
pretty
A.
tough. Exhibit A, exactly.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's definitely not easy. So,
it's not, yeah.
yeah, just excited to be out here. What about you? How's it been? How's this last semester been for you?
I don't know. I survived, so that's a good thing. It was pretty tough, honestly. I think, just being online anyway is tough because you don't have that human interaction, so it really doesn't feel like uni at all. But I think for me, what was worse was the time difference because obviously I'm still in Abu Dhabi. So 8 hours ahead, I've had like all these late night classes and I've had exams at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., which are pretty horrendous times. So I don't know. I'm just excited to hopefully, fingers crossed, be there in the fall, but we'll see.
In Toronto, yeah. Just for a bit of context, you go to the University of Toronto. So, uh, did they allow? Because we had Rusha on the last episode, and he talked about the similar struggles he's facing. Or he faced. Because I think by the time this episode comes out, your semester will be over. So he
I'm
talked
already
about.
done.
Oh, you're already done. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You told me that. Yeah,
Yeah. But anyways, there you
yeah.
go.
I was gonna say was he was talking about Risha was talking about his struggles, dealing with that difference. Did they say that no one was allowed to come back, or did you just choose to stay at home?
So I think all the classes are online, like there's no in-person classes. I think some people were allowed to come and just live in the residence, but mostly everything was closed. So it was really up to you. I feel like there's multiple U of T campuses. Like the downtown one, I think was same sort of thing. Like the classes were online, but more people were actually on campus. I just chose to stay home because it just didn't really feel like a point of going because it gets really cold there as well. So if I'm just going to be there in the winter, stuck in my dorm room the whole time, like it didn't really seem like it was worth it. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
yeah, is Rushel there right now?
No, he's
No.
in Abu
Yeah.
Dhabi. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, all the Toronto kids are just here.
yeah, stuck in the
It is
sand
what
pit.
it is. I know,
Yeah,
but oh well, it's okay. It has its positives as well.
yeah, free them out in cages. Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is something that we touched on in episode 8 as well. Like you even talked about it just now, just dealing with that difference in time. How was that
It
like? I mean,
Oh my
must have been
gosh.
pretty
I think
difficult.
I've always been someone who's had a really bad sleeping schedule, but that was just exaggerated even more by this. So I've just been having almost nocturnal, sleeping really late, waking up really late as well. Um, yeah, I don't really know. It was tough for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah,
Would not recommend.
no, yeah, your first semester was online as well, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
I
But
I would
yeah, sorry,
say
go.
sorry. It's just I would say the first week was tough. I had to learn how to adapt. That was pretty difficult. But then after that, it just kind of became a routine. But it's still, even though
Yeah,
I became used to it, it still was kind of weird. And there are certain things I wouldn't like doing at certain times. Like for example, I don't mind having class at 2 a.m. Sorry, no, I don't mind doing homework at 5 a.m., right? But I don't like being in office hours at 5 a.m.
yeah.
It uses a different part of my brain that I don't like using at that time for some reason.
I know, and I think it was also tough for me as well because a lot of my friends are still here as well, so I still had them all here, but they're all in the UK, and one of them's on a gap year, so they still had their sort of normal schedule, and I was the only one who had this like weird, crazy nocturnal night schedule, and so they would all kind of like make fun of me. They'd be like, "Oh, you
Mm.
wake up so late," and whatever else. So yeah, it just feels really weird, like you said, but I think this whole year has just been like that, so you just kind of come to terms with it, I guess.
Yeah, life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Exactly. You know
Yeah, exactly.
it.
So, just for a bit of context, usually I offer context at the beginning of episode as like who the guest is, but I mean, I guess we took an unconventional path today. But we both went to the same school. I think you probably joined. Don't quote me on this, but
We'll see.
maybe 2014.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, yeah. You're 8. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So
All right.
you joined. Yeah, I was. It turns out I was right. It was just because I've seen so many people go through the school because I was
I
there in the
know.
first
And
years.
we had a lot of like people coming and going like in the earlier years, so it's hard to keep a top on like who came when. But yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a ton of turnover when it comes to just people coming in, going out. So I'm
Yeah.
glad I got that right. Yeah. So
1.2.
you, yeah. So you came in 2014. I was there in 2011. We graduated in 2020. So we were in quite a few of the same classes over that time
Yeah.
span: geography, business, Arabic for a bit, chemistry, economics for a little bit,
Oh yeah.
math for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. A
And
lot of the sciencey classes we had together, like
yeah,
chemistry.
sciences, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, physics as well. Yeah, that's true. So a lot of the same, we shared a lot of the same classes now that I think about
Yeah.
it. And yeah, we just became friends and we're here on the podcast.
We were
Fast
also
forward.
neighbors. We shared a backyard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was
You,
pretty cool as well. There were
you,
times where I needed to borrow textbooks from Timmy, and he would just chuck them over the fence in the backyard. It was pretty convenient. So,
yeah. They call me the plug. Yeah.
yes, you are the plug.
Yeah, a lot of people from Brighton moved to my hood because I was there
Yeah,
first, so I call it
we
my
all
hood.
came.
But
We all came because of you, Timmy. We were like, we want to move there because Timmy's there. So,
y'all made the right
we did.
decision.
Yeah, but we did actually have a lot of Brighton people in the compound.
Mm,
There's a little society, little Brighton society in there.
yeah, and it started with yours truly. They,
Yeah,
they just came. They just
the
came
OG,
walking.
the OG.
Yeah, but I wanted to. So, did you come to Abu Dhabi from Toronto?
I was actually born here.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so I was born here. I moved to Canada when I was 6, and then came back after I think another 6 years. So there's a bit of back and forth.
Mm, okay. And when you were in Canada, you were just living in the six, right? Toronto.
Yeah. So no, actually Toronto. I just say Toronto because people know Toronto. But I was from a
Oh,
little city called Oakville. It's close to Toronto. It's like 20-minute drive. But yeah,
okay. So you're one of those people who are like, I'm not. I'm from there, but I'm not really from there.
it's like when you tell people, "Oh, I live in Dubai," because a couple years, like I feel like now people know Abu Dhabi, but a couple years ago, people didn't know what Abu Dhabi was, so you would just say Dubai. It's the same sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, these days I say Abu Dhabi, but even when I say Abu Dhabi, somehow like the next time they meet me, they're like, "Oh, dude, you're from Dubai? That's so cool."
Yeah, and I was like,
Because
no, we're not from Dubai.
yeah,
But I once told, so sometimes people don't know what Abu Dhabi is, but the other day I was talking to someone and I was like, oh yeah, I'm from Abu Dhabi, and he's like, oh, from the Fast and Furious movie, and I was like, yes, that's the one. So I think people now know what it is, I guess. Less
yeah, it's
confusion.
definitely a pretty memorable place to film. And Abu
I know.
Dhabi is a hub for a lot of those. I don't like using this word, but exotic kind of activities. That's why you see a lot of UFC fights happening on Yas Island. You see people from the UK, celebrities from the UK coming to the UAE to party and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
yeah,
a lot of Love Island like house members come here. I don't know if you watch Love Island, but
no, I
no,
don't.
you know, right? Luffy's a big fan, so he knows what I'm talking about. They all come here to Dubai and just party it up. So
Yeah, Dubai goes crazy for sure.
it does.
Definitely a touristy city. But since you're from Oakville, but that's pretty close to Toronto. I think Toronto is more
Yeah.
well known. So I want to ask about Toronto and particularly Drake. I know you were pretty young, but what was because people say that Drake put Toronto on the map. Like, how true do you think that is?
I don't think that's really true. I know Drake is like a huge artist, so like obviously people do think of him a lot when they hear of Toronto, but I don't think he put him on the map. Like I feel like that's a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, he definitely is like a huge artist there, and like a lot of my Canadian friends are obsessed with him, so he's a pretty big thing there.
Hmm, I get you.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, Drake is definitely. I mean, he's internationally renowned and all
yeah, yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
but he's I feel like in terms of the hip hop community, he's pretty much become synonymous with Toronto. Like when you think of they even call him the sixth
Yeah,
god.
actually, yeah, no, I get what you
Yeah.
mean. He does, yeah, he does have those Toronto connotations. So yeah.
And I respect that he's still, even though I listen to, I can't say I listen to a lot of Drake. It's just that I know quite a few of his songs because he's so popular. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
same thing with me. Like I'm not a
Yeah.
huge fan, which I feel like I don't know if I'm a traitor for saying that, but I don't listen to like a lot of his music, but obviously there's, his most popular songs, I feel like not everyone, but almost everyone knows. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a revolutionary in that regard.
Yeah.
And did you watch Suits?
I did. I started and then I'm really bad with shows. I always like get bored halfway and forget about them. So I think I watched until season two-ish and then kind of stopped. I'm working on it though. We're gonna get back to it soon.
That
Yeah.
slow grind. I'd say seasons one and two. I think the early seasons are the best. Like one through
It
three,
gets
those are the best
repetitive.
ones.
Like, you know what I mean? It gets pretty repetitive and I'm like I said, I'm really bad with shows. Like I just sort of hop between them. So it takes me ages to finish because I just need sort of like a change of scene. Um, so yeah.
I get you. But just on the topic of Toronto, I wanted to say that did you know that Suits was actually filmed in Toronto?
Are you serious?
Yeah, for real.
No way. I had no idea.
Yeah, I thought it was genuinely filmed in New York, but it's filmed. They do
Yeah,
a lot of their filming. I think they do a little bit of filming in New York, but they do most of their filming in Toronto.
because they do have
Just
like a lot of like the New York skyline, so I did think it was filmed there. That's cool. I didn't know that. What
and
happens
since
when
you've
you
been
come on
to
Oluswole? You learn some new facts, right?
exactly just spreading some knowledge to you guys,
Oh yeah, yeah.
exactly. But since you've been to both Toronto and New York, do you feel like, and you didn't even realize that the show was predominantly filmed in Toronto? Do you feel like there are a lot of similarities in terms of the structure of New York and Toronto, or is that a bit far fetched?
I mean, they kind of have the same vibe. Like, they're both really like urban, built-up cities, so they're kind of similar, but New York is just it's way more intense, like way more fast-paced. Um, Downtown Toronto may be kind of similar, but I think it is a bit of a stretch. Um, but there are some similarities, like, yeah.
Okay, I get you. And what are certain? I've never been to Toronto. The only places
How do
in
you know?
Canada that I don't know. I just never really no reason. I want to go there, but I've never
Out,
had any reason to be there. What'd you say?
missing out. Come on, though, you don't need a reason. It's Toronto.
Yeah, I probably am missing out a little bit. It seems like a good city to
It's
be
nice.
at.
Yeah.
But I want to ask, like, what are things that are unique to Toronto that people should know? Like, everyone knows about Canadian maple syrup, but what are some authentically Toronto things that people should be put on?
Oh, I don't know. Putting me on the spot here. Um, I haven't been there in so long. I feel like things have changed. Um, but yeah, I guess the maple syrup is one that you said. I don't feel like there's so many things that are super unique to Toronto. Are you talking in terms of like food or just in general?
Just anything, honestly.
I honestly can't think of anything. Is that really bad? Saying that Toronto doesn't stand out. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can't think of anything specific, but I feel like, each city has its own like vibe. Like it does have things that stand out about it, but I can't necessarily like pinpoint what it is. If you know what I mean?
I get you.
I don't know. Maybe we'll come back to that question, brainstorm a little bit, and get back to you.
Maybe we will. I think we'll come back to that question in a different form. Maybe towards the
Maybe.
end of the podcast. We'll see. Who knows? I don't want to give away all the secrets.
Oh, yeah, you made sure to keep it very secretive and spontaneous.
Exactly, yeah. And just for the guests, I don't tell the guests the questions I'm going to ask them before I bring them on the podcast. That's
I tried
intentional.
I tried like getting to me to give me a few hints, but he said no. So
Yeah.
I can prepare.
Yeah, it's intentional because like I don't want people to prepare. I don't want it to be like an interview. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want it to be a casual kind of conversation. So yeah, you tried to pry some answers out of me.
I
I said
did.
nah.
I gave it my best shot, but I guess I failed.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So you also transitioning away from Toronto for now. You also do a bit of artwork. Like in the yearbook, we saw when we were trying to find some art student produced artwork to include. We had some work from you, I believe, and I remember like seeing you with some other people in the art department quite a bit when we were in like 10th grade, so year 11. So what? How did you get into art? Like,
I think at the time of picking my GCSEs, like I picked a lot of really like STEM sort of subjects. Like I'm a really sciencey person. So I just wanted to pick a subject that would sort of be sort of like a break. You know what I mean? It gets pretty intense if you're just working constantly. So I wanted to, yeah. So I think that's why I chose art. It turned out to not be such a break because it is a really like stressful GCSE to take, but I did really enjoy it. It's a different change of pace. And yeah, I found out that I did have a little knack for art and I was a little artistic. That's actually some of my art up there back from the GCSE days, which is
oh,
nice.
the violin. I think it's
Yeah,
called the scroll.
yeah. So for my first year, because GCSE is obviously 2 years, so the first year of the course, my project was based around musical instruments, which is really random because I'm not musical at all. But I just so I did a lot of studies of violins, and that's like ink and stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean they look pretty accurate. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's some of my favorite work. That's probably my favorite piece.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, so you're getting a sneak peek right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty dope.
Yeah.
Do you think I have another question about artistic ability? Because for me, I was never. I mean, yeah, we had to do art when we were, younger. Before
Yeah.
even before GCSEs, it was mandatory from up until year 9, which is 8th grade. And I was never good at art. As in, I was consistently one of the worst in our class when it came to art, and it
You
was just
serious?
yeah. Like I thought I was average, but then I was looking at other everyone else's pieces, and then mine was way worse. So I just kind of wonder: do you think art is more artistic ability is more like just is it born out of natural ability or developing skills?
I think that some things you need to have sort of like a natural knack for. Like you need really steady hands, like obviously like painting and doing all that stuff. That sort of thing, maybe you need a natural knack for. But I actually towards like the end of my art course, like I was looking at my artwork from the beginning and I was horrible. Like I was really bad. So you do actually like practice makes perfect. And I think you do really improve with time. Like I definitely was not one of the best in my art class either, by any standards. But I just over time, once you do something consistently, like I was doing it for 2 years, you really do improve. So I think it's a bit of both, but I don't think it's just strictly based on like natural talent.
Huh, interesting. Because I mean, I do agree that the more you do it, the better you'll become at it. But the thing is, you're only going to practice something if you're taking it seriously, right? So
Yeah,
if you're 10, you're 11, that's GCSE time, that's high school. You're going to be practicing your art. I'm talking about when we were in like your 6, 7, 8. So 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade.
yeah,
People didn't really care about art. People just came to art to like just play around and draw
yeah.
stuff.
It was like a break, right? Because our teachers were
Yeah,
always chill as well. You would just come and mess around.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, I guess it obviously like it does have a bit of like you need to sort of be naturally inclined as well. And I did really like art as a kid. Like I would just draw and paint random things. But I still stick by saying that I do think it doesn't have to be just natural.
Hmm. Yeah, you're
I
probably
feel like
right. Like,
if you took GCSE arts, I mean, you probably would have been really good. You
I mean,
probably
if I
would
took GCSE art, I would have failed the class. So
have.
I don't think I would have. I think it would have been a waste of a subject for me. It would have taken because I see how long really talented artists spend just creating a piece, and those people
Forever.
who are actually sorry, what you say?
It takes forever. It really does. It takes like a huge chunk of your time. So you do need to be really like dedicated to it.
Yeah, and those people are actually good at their craft. I would have to spend time like developing the skills needed to be good at the craft, and then also try to execute, some sort of assignment, which is important for my grade. So I would have wasted a lot of time. It would have been a horrible subject for me to take. But I do have a lot of respect for people who are good at art, I must say.
Yeah, but you're pretty artistic in other ways. Like you're very musical. Um,
Sorry, what'd you say about
did
after
you-
artistic?
yeah, I said that you're pretty musical and you're pretty artistic in your own way. Like you're really musical and you do lots of instruments and stuff. So it's you can just tell people that you're artistic. It's a different kind.
Yeah, a podcast is a form of art, so
There
you
you
know
go.
can spin that in my favor a little bit.
Exactly.
And since you brought up music, I also want to transition to the kind of music you listen to. So, Brent, Life Was a Movie, and To Habatia's the sequel. What do those mean to you?
Did you stalk my Spotify?
I did my research.
Oh my gosh, that's really scary. So okay, so Brent, I recently started listening to Brent Fayaz's music. I really love him. I don't know if I said his last name right. But yeah, he's just amazing. So I made a whole playlist with my favorites from his albums. So that's that one. What were the other ones you said? Two
I said
Herbaceous?
Life Was a Movie.
Oh, so that's just like my that's just my playlist for I don't know, like feel good songs. So my music taste is kind of all over the place. I feel like I do listen to quite a bit of pop, but also very like R&B as well. And a bit of I think it's called like alternative or indie. So yeah, that playlist is just a mix of different sort of songs and vibes. And then my two Herbaceous playlist is so a couple years ago, I think it was summer of 2017, 2016, was the first time I went back to Toronto after moving to Abu Dhabi. And so me and my best friend, we found this song that was called Hibatia by Bram Riddles. It was this really random song. We really loved it. And that kind of became our like theme song of the summer. I don't know if that makes any sense. But then we just sort of made a collaborative playlist with a bunch of songs that we like. So that's the story behind the playlist.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And when you brought up Song of the Summer, that's a legit thing. Like, I think everyone there's always a song that you're bumping in every summer that reminds you of a certain that whole vibe, like whatever was going on in that time period. There's always a song that brings you back to that moment.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, do you have any songs this summer from 2020?
Oh, to be honest, cause it was quarantine, like I can't even remember what summer was. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it all feels the
Mm.
same. But I
Yeah.
think, oh, I don't know. What songs did come out? I feel like this was after summer, but Positions by Ariana Grande.
I
I
think
don't listen
I
to
think
her
I've
a
heard
lot.
it. I don't know the song too well, but I think I've heard
Yeah,
it.
so I don't listen to her a lot, but that was a good song. That was on repeat for a while.
Mm.
Let me do a quick scan on my Spotify. Maybe I can tell you. Um, what do you listen to? I feel like I don't know your music taste. Let's
Yeah.
put you on the spot instead.
For me, yeah. Okay. Now I'm in the hot seat. I
Yeah.
think for me, I wish I was one of those guys who say like, yeah, I listen to everything. I think Aaron, I believe he's been on the podcast. I think he was brought on. He goes to Penn. I think he
Okay.
was brought on episode 7.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who listens to everything,
Oh,
which
really?
is pretty dope. Yeah, like everything. But really, I just like good music. But really, my taste is more skewed towards rap, hip hop, and
Okay.
then a little bit of pop, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I like some R&B. Like my R&B is pretty much The Weekend. So I'm a big
He's
The
so
Weekend
good.
fan.
He's one of my favorites as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love him.
yeah. I mean, we spoken about After Hours and
We
how
had we
good a
debated
project that was.
what his best songs were. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put a pretty controversial statement out there. I don't like Blinding Lights.
Ooh.
I don't understand the hype. I'm sorry. I feel like
Ooh.
his album was amazing, but Blinding Lights was nowhere near my favorite, I would say. I'm
I
sorry.
think
I know I'm hurting you with that. You really love it, but I just don't get it.
here's the thing. I think I actually, even though I disagree with you, I see where you're coming from. I think because Blinding Lights was it was also a TikTok challenge. It was like an international, hit. It was being played everywhere. And I think the more a song is being played, the more it kind of becomes, saturated in your ear, and then you
Yeah.
kind of want to hear anymore.
I mean, I heard it a lot and I still didn't like it, so I don't know how true that statement is, but
Fair enough. I mean,
yeah.
for me, when I first heard it, that was I didn't even know it was such a big, it was a huge song when I heard it. But when I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is the truth. It was in my top two. That song and Faith.
Faith is amazing. Faith is
Yeah,
probably one of my top as well. I really like
yeah.
Miss No Child.
I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a big fan.
Are you
But yeah,
serious? That was
yeah.
probably my number one. Snow Child, Escape from LA, and After Hours is pretty good as well. The Yeah. But can
I
you
lo-
believe he didn't get nominated for the Grammys?
yeah. We actually spoke about this on the podcast with JD. But
It was
yeah,
and he threw like a pretty big like fit about it as he should. Like it was just I mean, I don't yeah, see, I don't know if he was a bit outspoken, but I would be pissed if I was him. Like he was on the top charts for like a whole year consecutively. So
yeah.
it's just like
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, that's it. Yeah, I was just like, how did he not get nominated?
Yeah, I was. I also had the same reaction, and for the most part, I agree with you because yes, the Grammys are not all about numbers, but if you're doing historical numbers, like Blinding Lights was the number one single on Spotify in 2020. If you look at the Billboard number one chart, the Billboard like number one charting album for across all 2020, the album that was there for the longest amount of time was I think Folklore by Taylor Swift. Number two was After Hours by The Weeknd. It was what is it? People, music critics liked it a lot. Fans liked it a lot. It was
Yeah,
huge by mainstream artists, and I believe he deserves to have been at least nominated for a Grammy. And there's a bit of controversy surrounding that. That I mean, alleged controversy surrounding that. I don't know how true it is. I don't want to get too much into rumors and stuff like that. But the only thing is, even though I would be annoyed if I were him, um, I feel like he cared too much
I agree.
because
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like because the Grammys, some people, plenty of artists have felt like they've been snubbed from the Grammys. So I think The Weeknd should have just said, okay, I make good music. I'm confident in that. Even though I didn't get nominated, I'm gonna roll with it. He could have voiced his his concerns about the Grammys once, and then maybe that would have been fine. But I feel like he kind of took it too far.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. But it is frustrating, I think, for him in his
Mm.
position. 'Cause obviously, like he works hard as well. I think was it the second year that he wasn't nominated, like 2 years consecutive, like he wasn't, or was that just the first year?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I don't know either. I think it might have been the second. Don't quote me on that. So I can get where he's coming from, but yeah, I agree. Might have taken it a bit too far.
Yeah. And especially like we were talking about this earlier, arts. It's time consuming. It takes a long time to
Sure.
make an art form. So the fact that he was snubbed is kind of sucks for him. But
It really
it is what
does.
it is. Yeah. He
Yeah,
has he has a song with Ariana Grande. I don't know if it's out or dropping soon. Is it out?
I think I don't know. He made one with her ages ago. Is there another one coming like recently?
I mean, yeah, I've been seeing some stuff about it recently. Maybe
I
by
don't
the
know.
time this episode drops, it'll be out, but we'll see.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something to look forward to.
New heat on the way.
Oh yeah.
And there was something I saw in your playlist called, and it's a song called "Dreaming" by Small Pools from the Love Tap album, which I actually
Yeah.
know. Yeah. What are your
Yes.
thoughts on that song, like, and the vibes?
So I think I listened to that song when I was like 12. I think it was the summer when I moved from Toronto. And when you like, I think this is not just related to music, but it's just like, stuff from your childhood just gives you like good vibes. Like, so it's a song that I've been listening to for years. And I find that like a lot recently as well, I've been listening to a lot of like 2010s and 2000s music just because it just makes me so happy. And I have another playlist. If you did your research, it's called Nostalgia, and it's just a bunch of like music that I used to listen to when I was like 10, 12. So Small Pools, or yeah, Dreaming by Small Pools, that was one of the songs I think I listened to the most back then. So it just gives me really good vibes.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about music because because music often has that nostalgic factor attached to it, and different people who have heard the same song might feel that same sense of nostalgia, but the memories associated with that nostalgia could be different.
Yeah,
And for you, listening to "Dreaming" reminds you of moving to Abu Dhabi from Toronto,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
When you're around 12. For me, that song reminds me of summer vacation around 2014. So I think I was also about 12
Same
because I
summer.
was.
Did it come out that summer? I feel like it came out then.
It's very
Um,
possible it did because it was in the FIFA 14 soundtrack, and usually they use recent songs that just come out. So
and I think it
yeah,
was like viral at the time. Like everyone was listening to it.
yeah,
Um, so I don't know. I love the song. I think it's great.
yeah. I think it's a really dope song, good vibes, and
Yeah.
for me, it reminds me of just playing FIFA because FIFA 14 is the first FIFA game that I really got into, and it just reminds me of like me sitting on my couch in the summer playing FIFA, and the song was in the soundtrack. The song was in the game soundtrack, so I'd be playing the game and hearing it, and I just like the vibes and the drums and the high
Yeah.
pitched vocals.
It's
Yeah, I think it
just
just
really
sounds good.
energetic. Like it just, I don't know, it just brings you like good vibes. So yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Small Pools. If you're trying to be on the podcast, we'll have you on.
Hit him up. Yeah. They'll be the
Yeah.
second best guest you've had after me.
That's highly questionable. I
No, no,
like all
no.
my guests.
Excuse me.
I want to transition away from music and move on to the topic of life sciences. And you brought this up earlier. You said that you've always been pretty sciencey. How did
Yeah.
you know that this life science grind was for you?
Um, to be honest, I feel like it was just the subject that I might have disliked the least. Um, I don't know. I've always enjoyed it and I've been good at it. Um, so I just
Okay.
kind of
Whoa, like, no,
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
kidding.
I've been good, not like
Yeah.
I'm not tooting my own horn. I was fine with it. So I just thought like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna carry on with this. Um, but yeah, I'm also majoring in economics as well. So two completely different things. But I just thought I'd throw them together.
Okay. Because
Yeah,
when we were because when we were graduating, we had that BCAT class of 2020 page. I
yeah.
don't think it said. I don't. If I remember correctly, I don't think it said econ on there. So
No,
did you
it
just
didn't.
decide that now?
Um, I think even at the time of applying, like I did really like economics, but I just felt I don't know. I was like I'm more likely to go into bio in the future because I was considering medicine. But I kind of just ended up like thinking like I don't want to decide between the two, so I'm just going to do them. And I think when you apply to, you feel like you have to apply to one field. So I had
Mm.
to choose life sciences, but then later on they give you the option to like double major or do minors and whatever else you want. So
Mm. I got you. So they
yeah,
gave you a little bit of versatility once you actually matriculate into the program.
yeah, and I actually really enjoy that because I feel like, and I think you have this as well. Like, I just feel like your degree is kind of customizable. Like, you can kind of choose whatever you want to learn. Like, I did a completely random course. I've never done like social sciences, but I did like a criminology course. I did a politics course as well. So it's stuff that I've never gotten to experience before, which I really enjoy. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, I think that's just a benefit of being in the North American system. You get to learn about topics outside of the your main field of study, which allows you to explore other interests or find
yeah,
interests you didn't even realize you had. Like
yeah,
for
and it's really yeah. Sorry, it's
no,
really
go ahead,
strange.
go ahead.
I'll talk to my UK friends where like all of them. I think I have just like a couple friends going elsewhere, but majority of them are in the UK, and they all like it's completely different. They all have like a timetable set for them. Whereas like, we pick our courses and we pick our classes, like everything is set out for them. So there's a lot less like, I guess, like you said, versatility and sort of, um, I don't know how to phrase it, but you get what I mean, right? Like you get less choice, I guess.
Mm.
Um, which has its own positives, but I think I quite enjoy being able to kind of experience different things.
I agree with you. Because for me, I don't know what my major is going to be, but since I'm in their business school, it's probably going to be maybe finance and marketing, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But I took a history. My favorite class has been my history, African world history class that I took last semester, which is
Oh, that's so
completely
cool.
unrelated to. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's not related to my field of study at all. It's just a dope class that was fun to do, and it's something that because some critics of this system of the North American system might be like, oh, you're wasting a year of your life doing stuff that isn't applicable to your major or directly applicable to your major. But I feel like the skills you learn are valuable. I don't know if
It's
you
about
agree
the
on that.
skills, yeah. Like they're all skills that you can apply elsewhere. It's not just about your degree or your major. But yeah, um,
Yeah.
the one thing that I did not like especially doing these like humanities and social science courses, was the readings. Like, oh my gosh, I'm still not used to that. I don't know if you probably had that in like your history class.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
readings. Yeah, and I'm so because obviously being a science student, we don't really get that many readings, and even in Brighton, like in our courses, we had nothing, right? But I took like in one of my electives this semester, I remember one week he gave us like 70 pages of reading plus like an hour podcast, and I was like, bro, come on, I don't have time for this. So I scrapped it. I hope he's not watching this podcast, but I just couldn't do it.
70 pages is a lot.
You
I
were,
have Yeah, I have a class. In fact, a class I'm taking right now. It's a music and culture class, and yeah, that class has a lot of readings. We gotta listen to some excerpts as well. And I remember at the beginning of the semester, I was like, I'm gonna eat this class. I'm gonna do every single reading, all of that. And then I saw the size of the readings just multiply and multiply, and I was just like, I'll do these readings,
I don't need
but
to
I
do
won't do.
them.
Yeah, I was like, kinda, because I was like, I'll do these readings, but I just want to get an understanding of the text. I don't need to read everything back to front to get that understanding, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it's
kind of gave
definitely
up halfway. I was like, I cannot do this. So,
yeah, it's definitely a big adjustment from where we came from. Because even for what you took two sciences, math and econ, but even
yeah,
for your most qualitative subject, which is econ, you didn't do. It wasn't like we didn't have readings and
we
all
had
that.
no
Yeah,
things at all.
yeah.
And even in because I'm taking econ uni as well. Like we still don't really have readings. It's these like sort of social science, I guess, if you can just branch them all under that umbrella. Like those majors have a lot of readings, and it's just insane. Like I don't know how like for me, it's just one course that I'm taking. It's just an elective, and even I'm finding that hard. So I don't understand how people who are actually majoring in it deal with that. I don't
Mm.
know, but respect to them. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, they're built different.
They are.
Respect to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I wanted to transition to the Oluswole Bowl, and that's where we ask you off the cuff questions about the stuff you've talked about on the podcast. It might be somewhat related to what you were talking about. It might be somewhat unrelated to what you're talking about. But yeah, let's just go ahead and fire.
All right.
Would you rather only be able to use a fork as your only utensil for the rest of your life, or would you rather only be able to use a spoon, and why?
I think fork. Can we choose a spork as an option? No, right?
No, no, no.
I think fork because I feel like sometimes you can actually, spoon stuff up with a fork. It's kind of versatile that way. Whereas a spoon, you can't really. It's just a spoon, you know.
Mm.
So I would definitely say fork.
I would say a spoon,
Are you
and the
serious?
reason
Why?
I feel like it has more versatility because
No.
anything, if you can, anything that you use a fork to pick up, you can probably use a spoon to pick up, or you can use like the edge of a spoon to like, cut into smaller pieces, or your hands and then eat it. But you can't eat yogurt or soup or anything like that with a fork. It's just gonna fall right through. You
fair.
know.
I'm not a very big soup person, so I feel like it I would be okay with a fork. But I don't know, sometimes, like you said, using the spoon to cut doesn't work, you know?
Mm.
It really depends. I'm gonna stick with fork. I feel like you've made the wrong decision for me.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree
Like,
because it probably just depends on your cuisine.
yeah.
Like, I mean, do what kind of cuisine do you usually eat at home?
I don't know. I eat a lot of pasta, so I feel like you need a fork for that, like a spaghetti. How are you gonna eat that with a spoon?
That's a good point.
See? See?
Yeah.
There you go. What else do I eat? I eat like a lot of rice as well, but you can eat that with a fork. It's a little tough, but we like a challenge. Um,
I mean, I usually eat rice with a fork, so
you
almost
actually,
always. Yeah. Yeah.
why?
Yeah. It's just the way we ate it growing up. Just in our
Okay,
household, we just ate it with a fork. But I've seen people eat it with a spoon, and I think eating with a spoon might make more sense because you can probably get
yeah,
more grains in a spoon than you can
definitely,
get in
yeah,
a
it would
fork.
make more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Um. Yeah. If you could have dinner with three specific people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Oh, um,
It's a common
oh,
question. I feel like this is the most quintessential podcast question there is.
I've heard
Yeah.
I've heard this question so much, but I've never actually thought about it. Like, I don't know who I would pick. Um, Give me a minute. Let me think this through. Who would you pick? I'll think about it while I listen to your answer.
I don't even prepare answers to these questions.
You're
I just
not.
ask them. But off the top of my head, I can probably dead or alive. Here's the thing: dead or alive, I would probably stray away from alive simply because I could have dinner with them in a different scenario, and I've had dinner with them before. You know what I mean?
Fair. Yeah.
So it would probably be people who I've never had the opportunity to interact with at all. You know, and maybe be tough. Maybe MLK, Martin Luther King
Yeah.
Jr.
Yeah.
icon.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know,
Good one.
can't imagine being in his shoes. I wonder how that would be like because I don't even know how he was able to be so successful.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
Definitely him. Second, it's tough. It's a
See,
tough
it's a tough
question.
question. I have one person that I've thought of.
Yeah.
This might be like a kind of nerdy answer, not really. I don't know. But I used to really, I'm a big reader. Like I love reading books. And as a child, I think like the first series that I really got into was Harry Potter. Typical. So maybe J.K. Rowling. I don't know. I don't know how interesting of a person she is, but I feel like when I was younger, I would have loved that. So maybe her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Potter Legendary series. We actually briefly mentioned Harry Potter on the episode with Shad.
Shahid, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
Oh, you
Yeah,
watched it?
I
Okay.
did, of course. Big Oluswole supporter.
Yeah. You know the vibes. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, she's from Bristol as well, J.K. Rowling. So there's a bit of
Yeah,
connection there.
I know.
Yeah.
Might actually get to have dinner with Shahid. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe.
One day we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got two more?
It's a tough question. I don't know. See, you can't even think of two more on the spot either.
I probably could. I probably could
Go on
if I
then.
thought about it. If I thought about it, maybe. Huh. I mean, it'd probably be. I'd have to have a musician in there. Maybe someone like one of those goats when it comes to musicians. Maybe like
Yeah.
Frank's. Maybe either Frank Sinatra or Biggie. One of those two as a
Yeah.
musician,
Good choices.
just because they're so iconic. And then
Yeah.
number three, Babe Ruth, the baseball player.
Oh yeah, good one.
Yeah.
So you thought of three. I can't. I'm so bad with these on the spot questions. I get really like panicked.
It's
So
cool. It's a chill, supportive environment. Low
yeah,
stakes. we can move on from that and transition to another question about Toronto, aka the Six. I love
Okay.
calling Toronto the Six for some reason.
All right. Yeah, you
Cause
do.
yeah, 'cause,
Always.
yeah. I mean, Drake calls himself the Six God, so it's kind of a
Yeah,
boss nickname.
of course.
What are three main attractions in Toronto that you have enjoyed, or that you would recommend?
Okay, so this one is not specifically in Toronto, but Canada's Wonderland. I'm a huge roller coaster
Canada's
person.
what? Sorry.
Canada's Wonderland.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a huge roller coaster person. Love them. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. I think it's like the best theme park I've been to. Um, Aside from that, I mean, I feel like CN Tower is like a pretty like sort of the main answer you would get. So I don't know if I would say that, but it is cool. Um,
Have you been inside it?
yeah, I have. I went. It was like a school trip in like grade four, and we all went to the top. And something cool. Here's a little CN Tower fact: if you dropped a penny from the top of the CN Tower, like it drops with speed so fast that it would cut through someone's head.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that really traumatized me hearing that as like a 10-year-old. Um, so yeah, I don't know if I'd say CN Tower. I don't know other food attractions. I would say there's this little bakery in Toronto, and they do these like ice cream sandwiches, but they make like all the ice cream at their bakery, and so they have these really cool, crazy flavors. And that's like my favorite. Like every summer, without fail, we go there like multiple times, just for their ice cream sandwiches. It's called Bake. Did I say the name already? Baker Bots.
I think maybe. I'm not
Yeah, so
sure.
Baker Bots is definitely one of my favorite places to go. And then the third attraction. Oh, there's a little butterfly. I forgot what it's called. The Butterfly Conservatory. You can just go inside and just kind of like chill with the
Observe.
butterflies. Yeah, observe the butterflies. Oh, and Bird Kingdom. I think there's quite a few like this is not just specific to Toronto. Like I know they have these around the world, I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
But I just remember like associating my summers in Toronto with those places. And Bird Kingdom's really cool as well. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Can you watch the sunset from the bird observatories?
I don't know. I think you probably can. They have like a lot of windows, so maybe you could do that, kind of multitask.
Uh huh. Yeah. Two
Yeah,
for one. S-
exactly.
I know you said the CN Tower was pretty typical, but that's when I think of Toronto and infrastructure. Not infrastructure. That's a bad word to use. Toronto iconic buildings. That's one of the things that I think about. So if I had an
Yeah,
opportunity to go there, I would definitely check that out. Sounds like
pretty
a dope
cool.
place to be.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. I would put that on your list.
yeah. It is on my list already. I appreciate
Okay,
the
well,
added support.
there you go. I'm just trying to be enthusiastic.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
So thanks for Zan for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be on here.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no problem. It was a great episode. Uh,
Best episode yet.
we'll see. We'll see. That's
All right.
everyone feels their episode is the best. So we'll
That's good.
see.
That's a fair thing to say. Yeah.
Oluswole is available on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. If you're watching this on YouTube, our socials are linked in the description. Thank you guys for listening, and peace.